greatest superpower in the world that is attainable for you is the ability to influence people. Call Matt Katz. I shouldn't call Chaz. We have some technical difficulties. Call Chaz.
I love this. Never, what was it? Children, animals, and technology? Is that the holy triumvirate of things you should never do in your life? They should add live onto that as well. So we're going to get into intros. So who's seen a Real Raw? Who hasn't seen a Real Raw before? David or Joe, you raise your hands. We're in trouble.
I just watched a replay for the first time. I just found out about it last week. So.
Awesome. So all I would say is just have fun. Follow the lead. It's just an hour of laughs and working towards influence and how presentation and how to get your message across. And Sean, you are much wiser and much more eloquent. So please start talking so I stop.
So Peter, do you love people, and/or are you interested in understanding how unconditional love for people with boundaries is the route to accelerating your money, time, and magic? Because that is what Unblinded, integrity-based, heart-centered influence is actually all about.
Definitely. Hand on heart, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's from that place that we grow and sell. And it's when we step into a different energy, an energy of taking and competing and those things, that's when things gets all completely crazy. Because we step into an energy where we feel like we're pitching, hooking, closing, taking, prospecting, grabbing, right, getting. It's just a different energy. It's across the table. It's pursuit versus on the same side of the table and having a mutual value exchange that makes sense for people. And I realized that breakthrough across this weekend because I was sitting on the steps of Tucker's restaurant after this extraordinary weekend with 60 fine folks plus the folks in the virtual that are in the Unblinded Elite program. And I had tears in my eyes talking to Elle Anderson and John Kelly and Mona. And I said, how do we protect this? Like, how do we protect it? Because if you don't scale and grow something, then it dies, because part of the energy of everything we're doing and the excitement is the possibility and the growth and the impact. On the flip side, how do you scale and grow something and keep what we have here? Because this weekend was absolutely remarkable. And I hadn't stopped thinking about it since then. And we just came off the Real Raw. And in the Real Raw, I felt an energy of like transactionalness, of head-to-headness, of some condescension, of some, like lower vibrational dynamic. Not criticizing anybody, just the presence of the energy, like Wolf of Wall Street selling energy, like, if you will. And I'm like, and it just dawned on me, like, that's what we're doing here. Like, we're having impact by being influencers, influencing influencers to merge ecosystems to make the world an even greater place. And we integrated this weekend heart-centeredness and love with math. Like, that's what it looks like. So, Peter, I know it's a lot to unpack. We're not going to pack it here right now, but are you tracking a bit, and does that resonate with you?
100%. When we spoke this last night, to me, love and math. Right? If you can find a way to put those two things together, you got something unassailable.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. So thank you guys for being here, and let's get to some intros, Peter.
Wow, we have an amazing group of people. Some I haven't seen for a long time, but someone I've yet to meet. So I'm going to start with Josh Cohen. Josh, do you want to who you are, where you at, and a fun fact?
So so how I kind of became interconnected with this society was through the Tony Robbins events. I took my wife to UPW beginning of last year, which is March in LA. And we were able to meet Peter and Michael Smikin, and then eventually Sean, who came to Unblinded in January. So it's just been stacking of these awesome interconnections of relationships since the beginning. It's just been amazing. So with what we do, my wife and I, Lindsay, we do nutrition accountability coaching worldwide. We have a gym here in California. Currently, we're fighting to keep our gym open indoors, because right now it's just this weird thing where outdoor gyms are supposed to be okay when there's like the worst fires in California history. So we're fighting to keep our gym open. We still do the coaching. Our big goal when we kind of connected with Unblinded was to take the obesity rate and bring it from 75-80% in the United States down to about 20-25%. And I believe with you guys and the people and the relationships that we built here, it's just the beginning of that. So
awesome.
Yeah.
How about a fun fact?
Fun fact, this will be the 25th quarter of a century this year that I've been working out, lifting my first weight.
All right.
So I have a little bit of mastery in that area. You guys have much more mastery in these other areas. So I'm trying to bring proximity into people and the things to where I can level up in those areas, and I can share what I've been able to master over the last couple of decades.
Well, thank you for that mastery. And Billy, thank you for being here, Josh, and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Peter.
Yeah, Sean, I didn't introduce myself. When does somebody give me a stage and I forget to talk about me? There's got to be something seriously wrong.
Can I introduce you first?
Please do.
Yeah. So I think Peter Swain is one of the most brilliant people I've ever met in my life. And he thinks in terms of math and levers, and he's heart-centered, loves people, contributes continuously, and he makes me laugh, and we have fun together. And he's like from across the pond, and he's up at 6 a.m., like from the night before doing trainings, and he has no problem with it. And he helps people see what they don't see about their marketing and their acceleration and how to pull those levers. And he's an amazing family man, loves his wife and children, and yes, and he's a friend. And oh, by the way, he just wins business mastery, because he's won business mastery not once, but twice in a row. And I'm not sure if that ever happened before. So Peter Swain, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Yeah, apparently it's happened 5 times in history that someone's won 2 in a row. I'm not exploring that in detail in case I find out it's 6, because then I can still say you can do it on one hand. So I'm just not asking questions I want to hear the answer to. I'll give my fun fact, because everyone knows me, digital, 1,200 projects, all that wonderful stuff. My fun fact is, in the last week, I've ordered a teapot from Amazon that was smaller than the teacups it came with, and a tent for my gym that is larger than my house. Because apparently the dimensions in the Amazon listing is not something I pay attention to.
Yeah. Awesome, brother.
Yeah, talk about the value of a micro distinction, Sean.
That is the value of micro distinction. So who else do we have, my friend?
Let's go to next. Actually, one of the amazing people that helped me win the second one, and there's actually 2 on this call. Let's go to Angela. Angela, it's great to see you.
Hi, everybody. It's so fantastic to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me to attend. It was incredible being able to go to my first business mastery and be on such an amazing team. Peter, you're such a dynamic leader, and you do have a huge heart. And I learned so much being a part of that team, and I just learned so much being at the event, and it really opened my eyes to a lot. I should introduce myself. I am Angela Crawford. I am currently in Phoenix, Arizona in the US. I am a business coach specifically for women who are looking to level up in their business and in their personal life. And I'm also a project management consultant. Attending Business Mastery, and I also attended my first UPW this year. It opened my eyes in so many ways, and it just surfaced so many distinctions for me. But the biggest distinction, specifically walking away from Business Mastery, is this question: what if every time we did business, something good happened in the world? That's really possible. So I just signed up with a company called B1G1, which means every time that you do a business activity, you can link it to an impact. So what I've started to do is every time I have a phone call with a new client, My business enables a human trafficking survivor to call home.
No, that's awesome.
I'm starting to measure impacts in my business, and that is just really creating a fire, inside to want to do more and to have more impact. And then as a side benefit, it's helpful for the business, but it just is such a beautiful opportunity.
Yeah.
And I've learned so much from having this exposure. So thank you so much.
Well, Angela, we're
for inviting
certainly
me here.
Love for people is clearly shining through. How about a fun fact? Fun fact about you.
A fun fact is a couple of years ago, I zip lined 20 zip lines in a row.
Whoa.
In Costa Rica. I love to travel. So when the borders open up again, I'm planning my dream trip to South Africa next year.
Boom. I have never heard, Peter, of anybody ziplining 20 times in one. Angela,
20 in a row.
The official, at least in our Unblinded world, record holder for ziplining. So thank you, Angela, and your heart-centeredness.
Thanks.
Amazing. Joe Hagan, how are you going to build a record zipliner? How are you going to beat that?
With a very thick cable.
Yeah.
Yeah, my daughter was ziplining when she was over in Italy and Czechoslovakia and everywhere else she was going last semester, but I haven't had the good fortune of doing that. But thank you for that story. That's very inspiring to have an impact every time you're looking to, be successful in business. It's great, and it's a great cause.
All right.
So yeah, I'm down with the king, Sean.
So what are you up to in the world, brother? Introduce yourself. Let these people know your amazingness.
So I have 5 wonderful children. 2 of them just got out of college. I spent about 25 years on Wall Street. I got introduced to the wonderful world of integrity-based human influence through one of Mr. Callagy's finest students. And once I got engaged, I haven't looked back. And I guess you could say one fun fact about me is that I'm ambidextrous. And that really helped me when I was out in the waves and I had 2 limp bodies in each hand. At about 1 in the morning, I was able to hold on to both of them and had a great weekend with all the crew.
Yeah. So Joe Hagan's referring to our nighttime activity on Sunday night, which included in pre-hurricane conditions in the Atlantic Ocean up here in 25 to 35 mile an hour winds, everybody going into the ocean under the waves. Yes. So bodies were flying everywhere, literally. Joe Hagan, were bodies flying everywhere?
Yeah, everywhere. And I saw one of our judges on the panel going down. I really couldn't help it because I was already occupied.
Right. So Joe Hagan. Peter, what other fine folks do we have for today?
I'm getting nervous and giddy with anticipation. Let's go to Ash. Ash, who are you and what's your fun fact?
Right. Well, thanks, Peter. I'm probably a little newer to the gang. Sean, I've seen you around some of the events, but we hadn't had a chance to meet yet.
Right.
And so I was part of Peter's team at Business Mastery.
Congratulations.
Great. Thank you. Yeah. Through his great leadership, I was lucky to be a part of it and to help contribute to that and make a big impact. So blessed to be a part of that with Peter and Angela. So I work as a strategy consultant for an international consulting firm that focuses on infrastructure, internet infrastructure. And so we go around the world, and a lot in the US, but a lot in Europe and Africa and other places. And we help people figure out what they should build and where they should build it for making things like Zoom work. So a lot of that is, in our own way, having an impact. I'm on a 10 meg DSL connection here at my family's camp in Vermont. And so, it works barely for what we're doing here, but we're trying to work. The federal government's got a big process right now. So we're helping some companies with that, as well as many other things to make sure that people can get connected and be a part of the digital economy.
Awesome, brother. Very cool. How about a fun fact, Ash?
A fun fact. So I became a vegan at the beginning of the year. And through that, I dropped my mile time by about a minute. and mostly it's for endurance sports. So when I'm not in front of the computer working on things, I'm usually out on my bike or out for a run or skiing in the winter, trying to get as much time outdoors as I can.
Ash, Peter, I mean, that's an extraordinary drop. I mean, for those that are not like familiar, dropping, and this is something you've been running, I presume, for quite a while. So it's not like you were new to running, and to drop a minute off your time is extraordinary.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I was like in peak physical condition just because of the workload, but to just change my diet, have like no knee problems, and to be able to run a mile a minute faster and to run 5 or 9 miles and get up 2 hours later. Peter saw this firsthand at Business Mastery. It was like I would take a call on my bike, do 20.
I was literally going to say this, Sean, when we were like, okay, we need a management meeting to work out what we're doing. Ash was like, no problem at all, but I'm going to be on my bike, / running, / this, / that. So, could you just keep the phone still while you do this for 30 seconds, please? Brilliant.
Well, Ash, welcome.
Is there come in, recover 2 hours, and boom, out the next thing. It's incredible.
Final. Where's your favorite ski place?
So off-piste would be Iceland. I think is top of the list. It's
Peter, whenever anybody says off-piste, it means they are a serious skier. Like it's like pre-qualified. It's like off-piste. Yes, like saying the word piste equals serious skier when they don't have an accent, or at least when they have an American accent. Off-piste means serious dude. So Iceland, and how about non-off-piste?
Resort-based Alta in Utah is just.
Dropping the mic, brother. Dropping the mic. Awesome. Ash, a pleasure. Glad we got to connect. And thank you for being here. Peter.
I just don't understand some of the stuff, like Ash and Sean. It's like, you want to go a minute faster, just press the accelerator just that little bit harder. Do that. You want to go off.
I can't wait. I cannot wait until you come to Long Beach Island. I cannot wait until we have video of Peter Swain on a surfboard in Long Beach Island. I cannot. Yes.
Can I try to be there and observe that?
Sean, next time we talk, I will tell the story of the only time I've been on a surfboard, because I think you'll love it. All right, we are perilously close to not getting to our main event, so let's go do some quick ones. David Gonzalez first. Sorry, not David Dongini.
Oh my God, DG is in the house.
I got DG here for us.
You cannot escape me, Sean Callagy. I was waiting to see if you'd recognize my voice sooner. So a little bit about me. Let's see here. I'll just jump to my first kind of sizable business. I ran $1 million a year hypnotherapy business for 9 years for the staff of 12. Sold that business, got involved in real estate right before 2008. That was a disaster. One day when I was in a bookstore, picked up a book called The 4-Hour Work Week, and realized that I wanted to, kind of finance my ideal life, as instead of waiting for retirement. So I got involved in the internet marketing direct response world and started hosting this thing called the Internet Marketing Party, which is kind of like a TED Talks meets a business happy hour networking event that I've hosted every single month for the last 12 years without skipping a single month. And that's put me at the epicenter of the direct response digital marketing world, where I've hosted a speaker on our stage without fail. And ever since Corona started, we've been doing the events virtually. But doing that has kind of put me at the epicenter of being able to be a part owner in 5 different companies, a couple of agencies, a product line, and some different things that have made it to where, a lot of people refer to me as a super connector, and I am absolutely eager and filled with anticipation at exploring how me and Sean Callagy and the Unblinded team get to work together in a meaningful and just amazing way. So I'm honored to be here. Fun fact about me is my wife and I, we've been married for 23 years, been together for 25. We were married in the ballroom where the first Oscars were held in Hollywood, California. So
that is awesome. And DG, not only all that, but Peter, David was on a surfboard this weekend in these hurricane-like conditions and and went into the Atlantic Ocean at night. He is a super connector. He is like either connected to or one step removed from every human on the planet, I think. And David, would you recommend to Peter, Swain, all these fine folks that the next Unblinded Elite weekend that they are going in the ocean in storm conditions or not? What is the David Gonzalez heart-centered integrous recommendation?
I'll leave that up to how close you are connected to your dreams, your aspirations, and your heart's desires, and how much you want to move into overcoming all the things standing between you and those things.
Yes. And did you get knocked over by a wave, David?
No, I got knocked over by waves.
That was awesome. But I would say this, for all of us in communication, and the waves were a metaphor for it. It's like when people were like, wait, I'm not ready, bang, like the waves like crush them like at night. And for everybody who was like, yeah, just like wave under, like just be in flow as opposed to like resisting. It was an amazing experience. So David, thank you for all you brought this weekend, brother. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It was amazing. And yeah, look forward to the next one.
Awesome. Peter.
Let's go from a David to a David. So David Longini, I hope I said your surname right. Who are you and what's your fun fact?
Hi, so David Longini. I'm new to most of you, although I think I saw Ash on a call that had probably 100 people on it because I remember the name. I am out of Buffalo, New York. And what we did is about a year ago, for those of you who are familiar with Salesforce, I really had my high-paying technology consulting job and said, this is an incredible career and I'd like to bring people into it who had never been in technology before, and kind of followed the same path of the guy who wanted to bring medical attention to Africa and then realized that rural Mississippi had worse healthcare. Buffalo is an incredibly poor city. So we tried to open up a consulting firm here where we could take people who never would have had the opportunity to get a high career, give a chance, and build a pathway in. And we're up to 8 people at the moment and really stabilizing to grow from there. And my fun fact, similar to David's kind of 4-hour work week, of my real break from the world is I spent a year living in a Shambhala Buddhist community living center, having every one of my preconceptions usually challenged, usually over dinner when you're not expecting it. So that was where a lot of my sanity came from.
Wow. David, it's a pleasure, brother. And I think that is quite a fun fact. So super interesting and pleasure to have you here. Even if you, had Rex Ryan as the football coach of your Buffalo Bills, Peter and I can forgive you for having our Rex. Thank you.
Let's not talk about the Jets, please. We'll leave that be. Second to last, but certainly not second to least, it's the venerable TTP. TTP, who are you?
Hey!
TTP.
Hey, what's going on? So happy to be here. Teresa Trigus Pepperly, or TTP, as I am known by some. I am, my husband and I'm in New Jersey. My husband and I have 5 children. I'm in residential real estate, have been for the last 20 years. I'm a broker of, not only do I sell, but I'm the broker of record of about between 150 and 180 agents, depending on any given day. And my fun fact is that the 2018 Volvo XC90 does not open this gas tank if there's a dead battery in the key. So this morning when I left the house, I was stuck at the gas station and had to call on call, had to search for batteries, was walking across the highway to another gas station. Oh, yeah. And I just have to share this one because while I'm sitting there stuck, I left a video message for the elite coaching students saying, F the waves, right? If we could do the waves, I could sit here with my car broke down and had to call someone for help. And I realized that having the team in the water to help pull me out, and Sean reminding us that in life, that's a metaphor for you're never alone. And here I am sitting on the side of the road and Rob Gill's calling me from South Jersey, and Nick Knutsen's calling me from Minnesota. And I ended up having someone from my office come pick me up and bring me a battery. And it just made me feel, my heart feels so much love and connection with the world around me. And I just want to thank Sean Callagy for that.
Oh my God. TTP, Teresa, love you. So grateful for you. And yeah, my one of my fun facts for today will be I was dancing on a pirate ship a few hours before that with TTP and some of these other fine folks. So TTP, I'm so sorry that happened today, but also so thankful that it reminded you how not alone you are and all the people that love and care about you.
Absolutely.
So, Sean, my last call for an intro is you. I don't think we gave you. I know how amazing you are. A few people on here do, but for the rest of the world, who are you and what's your fun fact?
Yeah, no, thank you, Peter. So quick, what I'm up to in the world is creating simple, fun, and magical micro distinctions and frictionlessness that free exponential abundance, like little inputs, massive outputs that free people's exponential abundance in their money, time, and magic. I own a law firm. I have owned multiple law firms. I have 125 people that I'm privileged and honored to call my teammates and folks that work with me and at Callagy Law. I also the co-founder of Unblinded to create this formula, and the passion of my life is how heart-centered, integrous influence works when you know what to do with it to make the world an even greater place. And that's what this is all about. Final on that. I believe that the entire world of sales, marketing, coaching, and networking are ripe for innovation, are sitting somewhere around the space of like the flip phone. And we're ready for the iPhone 10, and that's what we're here to bring at Unblinded. So thank you for that. Peter, super grateful for you. Let's drop in, brother.
Let's do it. So, Sean, do you want to give us the rules? How are we going to do this?
Sure. So all you fine folks, me, Peter, everybody here, right? We're looking to go from hello to yes with people. We go from hello to yes in our marketing, our selling, our leadership. It affects our money, time, and magic all day, every day. Socialization, marriages, everything is about hello to yes with heart-centered integrity. Because if we're getting yeses by manipulation, forcing people into other negative vibrational things, then we're not going to be too happy and going to have all kinds of problems. So that's what this is about, is how do we go from hello to yes and unlock that superpower? Because it doesn't just impact us in a linear way. It impacts us in an exponential way. Exponential because it compounds in every conversation, every minute, and knowing what to do with it. So Peter, by the way, Peter, this weekend, and when we went on the pirate ship, we said, they asked us this kind question, the pirates, do you want to be Peter or Tink? And so many people wanted to be you. They wanted to be Peter this weekend. So I thought I'd give that from my heart to yours. So Peter will be whoever you want him to be. He could be an ideal client avatar, or he might be a strategic partner. He could be somebody that can get you a TV show or a book deal, or he might be somebody that you want to donate to a charity or partner with it at a charity. A lot of folks go with like ideal client. And the key distinction is in these 3 minutes, you don't have to sell something, right? But it could be a business scenario. But you can also just have a longer meeting be the yes that you're seeking. So don't feel the need to rush. This is so much more about connecting heart to heart, depth of listening. And through our depth of listening and our heart-centered connection, this is how people say yes to us, even if they're not quite sure what they're saying yes to, as long as we have integrity. So whoever goes first, it's like, who would you want Peter to be? You have 3 minutes to go from hello to yes. You'll hear the alarm go off with a minute to go, 30 seconds to go in time. And Peter, who's going first?
Well, we haven't heard from Josh for quite a while because I allowed all of our intros to run too long. So
I co-created that, so that we had some fun. So thank you.
Suboptimal slightly, but we're getting there and we're having fun, which is what counts. So Josh, who would you like me to be?
So would you like to be a prospective client that's interested in being more healthy and fit?
Whatever works for you. So yeah.
Yeah, that is Peter. He's ready to go. So take us in. 3 minutes, Josh.
So, Peter, why are we here today?
Predominantly I need to look after the weight a little bit and make sure I'm around for my kids and my wife for years to come.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about the things you've been struggling with, some things that have been challenging you.
I'm quite renowned for not really sleeping too well, which leads me to probably make not the right decisions at the beginning of the day, which then kind of compounds throughout the rest of the day, until I slap myself around the face and persuade myself to stand up and do it again.
Right. So getting lack of sleep or staying up a little bit late, so part of your habits in those areas, you would say?
Yeah, I mean, on average, I go to bed somewhere between 2 and 4 o'clock in the morning, and my kids wake me up somewhere around 7 to 8 in the morning.
Right. So just before Sean wakes up, and then right after he goes to sleep, right?
That's the plan.
Okay. All right. So how long has this been a challenge for you?
Quite a long time. There's some stuff in childhood that led to it. The story at the moment, I don't know how true it is, but the story at the moment is certainly almost all of my clients are in the States. And that can literally, I mean, the other day I got asked if I wanted to do a call with somebody that has potentially millions of business, quite literally millions of business they could give to me. But the call, they said, let's do that at 8 p.m. my time. And then I looked down and realized he was on Pacific time, which means that he was talking about 4 o'clock in the morning my time. If I say no to that call, then he's going to look elsewhere and there's friction and he's going to do something else. If I say yes to that call, it literally means I have to be awake at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right. Yeah. So it sounds like, career and opportunity sometimes can get in the middle of the habits and rituals that you need to achieve what you really want.
It's both, because then on the other side, I won't let my kids are 5 and 3, so they don't understand that reality of time zones and money and all that stuff that I just said, whether it's important or not to them. So I won't let them suffer as a result of me making those decisions. So when they get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, I still get up at 8 and I still have breakfast with them. So it's not just the work, it's the fact that on one side I refuse to let my family suffer, and on the other side I refuse to let the opportunities pass. There's only one thing that can be left to give in that at the moment, which is me.
Well, and then your health sacrifices at that point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely a tough situation. And, I hear that very common. So what you're telling me is basically you're just like everybody else,
Yeah, I think probably a little bit more extreme than most, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So giving yourself a little bit of slack, and credit there, where, giving yourself a little bit of grace, but not so much grace to where you fall off and go deeper in those habits of getting less sleep and worse habits, right?
Yeah, and I think that's my current focus, is how do I get really optimal around what I am doing to allow myself to be as healthy as I can within the constraints that I'm saying exist.
Absolutely. Yeah. So once you're able to find out that balance, I feel like you're going to be able to give more and share more and make more of an impact. And then, of course, provide for your family as well.
Definitely. Yeah.
Cool. So tell me about, Peter, some things that you've tried in the past that maybe didn't work for you.
I think it's probably like everybody you speak to, Josh. I've tried a bit of everything at some point or another. I've tried to do keto. I've tried to do intermittent fasting. I've tried to do 7-2s.
10 seconds?
Et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. So just about everything under the sun. Were any of those things sustainable?
No.
Last 5 seconds, Josh.
Okay. So what do you feel like has been missing, Peter, from the programming before?
Sustainability. But I did it. Ooh.
Yes. So we're at time, Josh. Josh,
okay.
How was it for you?
What was that?
I said we are at time. I said, how was that?
I felt like it went pretty good.
Awesome. Peter, if you had one word for the connection level that you felt, what would that be?
7, lean into the pain.
All right. Very cool. Let's go. And our judges are TTP Joe Hagan. Is it the judges, Peter?
TTP Joe Hagan and DG as well.
Oh, DG as well. All right. So let's open it up with TTP. We'll do 2 to 3 each round. We'll go TTP, David Gonzalez this round. Pick it up with Joe next. TTP, what did you have for Josh?
Hey, Josh. First of all, I appreciate that you led with questioning Peter about him, and you definitely did make it all about him. For me, it was an 8.5, and if I may give you a little micro feedback on that. I would lean in a little bit more. Like when you asked him a question and he answered it, instead of like matching him with like, yeah, and throwing out there something that was similar, I might just continue that and ask him, oh, wow, you're not sleeping. How does that make you feel the next day? Right? Like just keep leading into it. Then I think you would have had enough time to bring it back to your desired objective at the end.
Very nice, TTP. Excellent job. Excellent. DG, David Gonzalez, brother. What 30 seconds of feedback do you have for Josh? Countdown 25 seconds.
Mute, David.
All right, great. Thank you. I'll start by saying you did a great job of dropping in, getting him to where he needed to be by way of the pain and the yes, getting him to go really personal. It's clear that you've got a level of mastery here. By way of an actual score, I'm going to pull my Simon Cowell here and give you a 6.5 based on a couple of things that I noticed, which is you asked him, why are you here? Instead of why are we here? Which kind of put him on, it's like, well, dude, he's here for you, not the other way around. Secondly, it sounded a little bit scripted, like it's kind of like you've done this 1,000 times instead of like a level of like you're here with him and this is the first and only time you've ever done it. I'll and I'm winding down here. I'll confirm with TTP. There was a while you did a great job, and I think you would end up doing agreement formation. This is more about micro distinctions and having him feel really connected to you as a human, as opposed to someone who you're going to simply help. So that's what's present for me. Hope that helps.
Good job, David. Josh, thank you. Excellent work. Peter, who is up next?
Sean, before I'm going to just say, a distinction that I just heard from Teresa and David, and then I'm going to do the next intro. Isn't it amazing? I asked you about a question weeks ago about the power of questions. Isn't it amazing that Teresa and David both just said, you obviously know your stuff, you obviously have a level of mastery. He didn't deliver a single fact. That is the power of questions. He didn't actually say, and Josh in a good way, he didn't actually say, he didn't teach anything. He just asked questions, but the takeaway from two people was both, wow, he obviously knows his stuff. It was really fascinating hearing that put together as the power of a good question.
Delivered with certainty, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you, Peter. I appreciate that. And thank you for the feedback, you guys. That was very helpful.
Yeah. And Josh, these folks, I mean, just came off of 4 days and have been studying what we're talking about for months and months. And these are brilliant, successful entrepreneurs. And present. Great job.
And I just want to add for 2 seconds, Josh, what you just said now, like, thank you for the feedback. That felt so from the heart. I felt so connected to you. And that's what I would like to have seen to make it an 8.5 or a 9 when you were interacting.
I appreciate that. Honestly, for me, especially in the field where we work in, and you guys especially wanting to operate at a high level, it's like, I want to get better. Like when someone's correcting me, I'm like, oh, I suck at this. It's like, I want to know how to get to that next level, So thank you.
Sure, with time integrity, can I throw one thing in there?
Yes, which we're running, guys. I would just throw this in, and I started this party of insanity going a little bit long because we are all jacked up coming off of just so much time together. We just want to love everybody, support everybody. So absolutely, yes, Joe, but we got to get some time.
Real quick, he brought up the kids twice, and he kept talking about his family, but the business was what was giving him the hours that were crazy. But he mentioned something about his childhood that was deep seated there. And I think that could have opened up a whole lot that was just kind of overlooked.
Absolutely. The illustrious Joe Hagan. Love you, brother. And you're going to lead off next round. Peter, who's next?
Let's do it, and let's keep it quick then, tight then. Ash, who do you want me to be?
Great. So I think I'd like you to be. I've recently gotten into some more charitable work, and so I'd love to have you be somebody that I'm approaching with as a potential partner or collaborator on some of the charity side.
Cool. And what am I? Right, so I'm basically me, 40-year-old ex-white male potential charity person.
Yeah, I think we can work with that.
We can work with that. Cool. I get to be me again. No one's asked me to be a woman yet, and no one's allowed to do that on this call. Go for it.
I can barely hear you. I don't know if maybe your mic got disconnected or something. It sounds like you're like 10 feet away.
Oh, sorry. I'm a little far. Is this better?
countdown, 1 minute, 50 seconds.
No, not at all. I'm not sure. It sounds like you might have your AirPods plugged. Like they may have picked up and they're in the other room or something. I don't know if it's just me.
Yeah, no, it is real low.
It's okay.
Speak loud,
like
Ash.
if it was 1 to 10, you'd be at a 2.
Yeah. But let's roll with it just for timing. So
Yeah, sorry, I'm on my laptop mic, so that's probably the.
Yeah. All right, just take us in, Ash.
Yeah, well, hey, thanks, Peter. It's great to connect with you here. I just love to hear a little bit about what you're thinking about right now, and how you think about contribution these days.
Yeah, it's an interesting subject. Yeah, it's something I was very big in, but I think when you get into times of COVID, maybe your mind subtly changes without you realizing it, and you start looking after, me and mine and home first. So it becomes more of a conscious activity than a default reaction, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. So just so that I hear you there, you're saying that you're feeling a little inwardly focused right now, and it takes a little bit of a conscious effort to think about giving back.
Yeah, I mean, the UK is probably about to go back into a lockdown in the next 2 to 4 weeks. You don't know what's going to happen to your money, your finances, and I don't want this to come across wrong, but I want to look after everybody. But my first thought is my children. My second thought is my wife. My third thought is everybody else.
Yeah, that's very sensible, and I think it makes a lot. Do you remember? I know that you follow Tony like I do. Do you remember what he said about? I think it was Sir John Templeton. He said about the 10%. The people who he saw who gave 10%, he never saw any of them not turn out wealthy within 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, I do.
Does that resonate with you right now? I know it's been a stressful time, but you feel like that resonates from the point of the mindsets of scarcity and abundance.
Yeah, and that's why I said it to me, and maybe I didn't really articulate it. To me, it's a case of consciously pushing myself into that space. Mm-hmm. Whereas 6-7 months ago, it was a very natural space I wasn't thinking about what might happen tomorrow 7 months ago. Now it is definitely a continual frame.
Yeah. Well, and I can imagine, if you're experiencing that, a lot of people are probably experiencing that, right? Would you say?
Yeah, I think I'm probably slightly more immune to it than most. But yeah, I can certainly see other people are in the same space.
Yeah, so even more so than maybe what you're feeling, that there's a lot of stress right now and a lot of people focused on scarcity. So do you feel like that means it's more incumbent for people like you and me to step up and help those other people who might be struggling?
I hadn't thought of it that way.
Yeah, so I didn't hear. I heard somebody say something about timing. I won't be respectful of your time, but what I just love to ask you is just if you have some more time, I'd like to share some things that I'm working on that can kind of get at that and help connect people, particularly those people who are out of work and afraid right now, help them get better access to all the things that they need to connect with, in particular with the economy, with new ways to work, and new ways to access healthcare and education. Would you be up for having maybe just like a 30-minute conversation on that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know that.
All right. Thank you, Peter. It's great to connect again.
Nice job, Ash. How'd that feel for you, Ash?
It felt good. It's always a little stressful in these situations, especially with people knowing that people are watching. And I wanted this because I knew it was going to actually raise me even more. I have trouble kind of asking people for things, even when they're friends. So, but this is something, part of why I like this is because it's something that is important to me. That's about helping other people as opposed to helping myself. And I think that it's easier for me to connect with people on that and say, hey, let's go do this together. Than it is to give me
awesome job. So you're gonna drop in with the illustrious Joe Hagan in 1 second. One, it's all just a story. 2, there is no failure. There's no failure. 3, there is no rejection. So awesome job, Ash. Joe Hagan, illustrious show. What do you have for Ash? 30 seconds.
Meet.
Countdown 25 seconds.
So I thought he started out great. I thought he ended great when he had time integrity, realized there was time. He rolled that right into a formation agreement to get another meeting to really talk and drill down on how he can help. I just thought in the middle there was a little bit of a speed bump where he started trying to talk about Tony and Sir John Templeton as if he had to explain to Peter why, to donate so much money and how they turn out, where Peter already had that at hello. Peter's only defense was, you know what? We got COVID right now, and I'm caring about my kids, my wife, and then everybody else. So I think that's the elephant in the room that you've got to kind of attack a little bit, and really appeal to him, say that, I know how you feel. Most people have felt that way, and I think it's incumbent upon us to really roll up our sleeves and work a little harder, and then work for that formation agreement. But everything else was great, and I would say it's an 8.5.
Nice. TTP, we got for Ash.
Ash, I'm giving you a 9.0 because you made Peter smirk, and that made my heart smile. I thought overall you did fabulous. You had little tiny micro distinctions. I'm with Joe that you definitely started strong and ended strong, and in the middle, it might look like a little more leaning into some of the things that Peter answered you with.
Nice. And what do you have for a score?
9.0.
All right, thanks. TTP. Ash, great job, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Peter.
The smirk came because I was like, where are you taking this? Like, you are making me sell against the idea of it. And then the flip around, I was like, oh, bravo. I like it. I'm impressed. Okay. Well done, Ash. Let's keep energy moving. David Longley, I'm not going to let you go last again. So, David Longini, over to you. And then afterwards, we'll go to the amazing Andrew.
All right, David. Who are you to be?
Who am I? Could you be an account executive at Salesforce who brings partners in like me to do projects?
I will try my level best. I feel like this is
I'm only going to ask you questions about what you. It's only what you're going to. I'm only going to ask questions about what it's like to partner. No specifics.
Let's do it.
So, Peter, thank you very much for spending the time today. Courtney Cervantes has told me that you're a real business whiz. And we really just wanted to chat because I know you have some projects in your pipeline, and I wanted to really understand what it is that you're looking for and how we could best support you.
David, thanks for the call. I'll be totally honest with you. The number one thing I'm always looking for, if I can be bold here, is the people that are going to screw it up and drop the ball. Right? Because at the end of the day, my name lies on this project, on these projects as well, not just Salesforce, not just yours. And my whole career is based on my success and failure rate at how these projects go out. So that would be my number one. It's almost not more about how people succeed. It's about making sure the right things are in place to make sure people don't screw it up.
Honestly, how do you even go about doing that right now, validating things during COVID with people like me calling in? That's got to be tough.
Yeah, it's interesting. We don't get paid for doing nothing, but it's a lot about past performance. It's a lot about taking the relevant references. And also, I've done this for 25 years now, David, and you can often hear just in the way people are asking questions how much they actually understand what they're talking about. So there's a gut feel to it, but based on that, from there, it's based on past performance.
That makes sense. What do your best partners do that make them somebody that you go to again and again?
That's a good question. I would say more than anything else, they're very clear at setting their expectations in advance. And the other thing I would say that they're really good at is in terms of their budget control, not in terms of how far they push things down, but how realistic they are actually buying themselves the space. So when the inevitable goes wrong, we all know it's going to go wrong. There's always a little bit of fat left there, so we don't have to have some really gnarly conversations.
That makes sense. If we were to work together, how would you prefer that we have those kind of conversations to make sure we balance what the customer's budget is with making sure it doesn't go wrong in the long run?
I'm going to just refer you back to point one with a caveat of if we work together is a big if, but my caveat on point one would be to say, it's more about making sure we don't go wrong than we do it right. We have different goals. Your goal here is to get it right, to win the business. My goal here is I've got 10 different people I can give this to. and I'm going to give it to the person that, quite frankly, makes myself and Salesforce, look good and not make mistakes.
30 seconds.
How many seconds? Sorry.
30.
Then, given what you've said of expectations and budget control and making sure that things don't go wrong, would it make sense to us have some follow-up conversations and test out something where we could bring in to really be able to support that?
Yeah, if you can illustrate that you can achieve those two things, I was more than happy to have you in the mix of people that we would talk to when something comes up. The ones you mentioned that are in progress now have already kind of been shortlisted and allocated. I'm not going to go back and undo that work because it would just like rip a Band-Aid off.
You too.
But would more than happy to include you in the next set.
I very much appreciate that.
Perfect.
All right. Excellent job, David. How'd that feel for you?
Yeah. Who? Me or David?
I was asking David, and then we go Peter. Yeah, David.
It's helping me recognize that I need better questions, and especially for this, I'm still in the framework of we've been doing customer discovery and figuring out what matters most to them as opposed to the personal discovery. And I could have asked a lot more questions to connect with Peter individually, as opposed to as the role in figuring out what's best.
Yeah. And Mona, my significant other, by the way, David is a Salesforce sales executive that they brought from Canada to be here in the US. So I'm sure she'd be happy to give you some input if you're actually looking to create relationships with Salesforce.
Of course.
Yeah, Peter, more connection. How was that?
Yeah, I think it was the lack of personal connection was summed up by the fact that he wasn't able to pull the if we were to work together because it just got, I was being slightly douchey, but it just literally it pulled up straight away of going, well, I haven't agreed to do anything with you yet. Why are you pushing me into that space? And that I don't think would have happened if there was more of a personal connection there.
Understood. Gotcha. Let's check out the judges. David Gonzalez, we have a new phraseology on the Roro Open. Quote, Peter Swain, slightly douchey. From that perspective, let's drop in, David. What'd you have for David?
Mute, David, mute.
Damn it. Okay. I gave David an 8.3 because aside from the element of slight douchiness which was really just the element of not building more personal connection. I think you did great by way of edification, acknowledgement, and identifying the best partners, showing empathy there, future pacing. If we were to work together, I think that could have been, obviously would have worked great if you had built more personal connection. Repeating through empathy what's important to him. I mean, there was just a lot you did right. I think the other reason I gave you an 8 instead of more of a 9, aside from the opening, was there was a loosey-goosey close. Like, you kind of went for it, but then at the end, it just kind of fell flat. So that's right.
So, David, how many scoops of ice cream would you have eaten if you had been here for the 128 scoop bloatation?
I would have let you down because I'm on my second year of no sugar.
Awesome. David Gonzalez would have said no to bloatation. This is a self-mastery genius. Awesome. Illustrious Joe Hagan, what do you have for David?
Yeah, great diagnosis. I would say that for sure. He was on his way to having the door wide open as far as making that personal connection with the question, like when guys like me calling, Peter started opening up a little bit and then he kind of switched back to what do the best partners do? And you never want to have the opportunity for someone to repeat their objection. And Peter was kind of like, well, like I told you in the beginning, my name's on it, right? So if he would have addressed guys like me calling and his name being on it and whatever they do, he'll make sure that he protects his name first and foremost. Then I think it would have been much better in that personal department. And just like David said, instead of saying, would it make sense as far as a follow-up call, you're not really asking for that much. I'd say, I would tell him, listen, I would love the opportunity to get to know you better and show you how I could do that as far as the formation agreement. But there was a lot of really good questions and a lot went right. And I would say an 8.5 also.
All right, Joe. Excellent. David, great job. Peter, who is next, sir?
Last but no means least, I have saved the amazing, the insightful, the wonderful, the B1G1, Angela Crawford. Angela, who can I be for you today?
Well, I really wanted you to be a woman, just because.
Let's do it. Come on,
that.
Angela.
I'm going to just let you be you. I'm going to let you be you because, you know, you're such an amazing person. So let's
take us in 3 minutes.
You be you, and we're meeting at Business Mastery for the first time.
Rock and roll.
How's that?
Yeah.
All right. So, Peter, it's incredible to meet you here. I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to share Business Mastery with you. Tell me, Peter, what's life about for you?
Life's about my family. Life's about my kids. And the last couple of years have been about a bit of a rediscovery of working out how I do everything I do, but do it for good people, not bad people.
That's really beautiful. What does life need to be about to get your life to the next level?
When I know the answer to that question, I will tell you. I'm paying that big man on stage a lot of money to find out. Yeah.
So out of curiosity then, I mean, you mentioned that you're looking for more impact. What right now, beyond your family, do you find meaningful? What gives your life meaning?
Well, we've only got a couple minutes to my next call, so I can't go into it in full detail, but I can share with you later on. My entire mission is around my daughter being safe in 15 and 20 years' time. And to achieve that goal, the only way I can do that is to change every single person on this planet to be a slightly better person. Because I need to reach the people that she's going to meet in 15, 20 years' time that I haven't even met, and some of them haven't even been born yet. So that kind of gives me an overarching remit of just, well, as long as I'm making the world a better place, and as long as I'm empowering other people to do that, and probably the second one more than the first, then I think it's a life well led.
Wow. I really love the authenticity that I feel from you right now. And I can see that you have an amazing mission that you're looking to achieve. What rituals, processes, or habits do you think that you could put in place now that could get you to achieve that mission of keeping your daughter safe and making an impact on every person in the world?
Yeah, I'm spending a lot of time accidentally doing coaching. I did 8 coaching calls last week around helping people with their why and helping people with the kind of mindset mentality. I don't have the time to carry on doing that and earn the money and have the impact I want. So I'm looking at doing a bi-weekly coaching call / drop-in / mastermind, focused purely on that. And more than anything else, it seems to be female coaches that I enjoy working with for some bizarre reason.
Well, I would love to be part of, I'd love to join that mastermind at some point if I could be invited. So it sounds like if you could change lives every day just by doing what you do currently and not changing anything, would you be interested in doing that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I would love to take maybe 30 minutes to an hour and get together at some point and talk about how we can have more impact together. And would you be interested in doing that, scheduling a session?
30 minutes or an hour, which one?
Let's make it an hour.
Okay. If you said 30, I might have said no, but if you're going to shoot for the whole hour, I'll say yes.
Yes. Thank you, Peter. I look forward to it.
Excellent job, Angela. How was that for you?
I really enjoyed it. I really felt a good energy from Peter. He has an incredible heart. He's on an incredible mission. And I love how he is authentic, and he allows himself to be vulnerable, and I can really sense that. And that makes me feel more connected to him and his mission. And honestly, I just felt more like I wanted to help him make that a reality.
Awesome. Well, great job, Angela. Let us check in. TTP, what do you have for Angela?
Hey, Angela.
Hi.
So first of all, I love your energy. I love that you varied your energy. You had a lot of fun with them. You had moments where you're high energy and you were laughing, and then you kind of like dropped down a little. I would have loved to see the end be more like when you got real soft with him. I would have loved to see that be a little bit more like, hey, Peter, listen, I love what you do, but like, I know that I can do this for you. And then the other point of feedback, overall, I thought you were fabulous. You were an 8.5 for me. And the only other, if I may, one other thing was when he mentioned his kids, his family in the beginning, and then later he mentioned his daughter, that was like, that could have been gold, because had you, instead of continuing, because I know what happens, right? In your mind, you're thinking of, hey, I want to say this and this and this. I would have completely just gone with it and said, oh, tell me more about your children. Tell me more about your family. You know, what do they mean to you? And gone that place with it. But overall, 8.5, you did great.
Such great feedback. Thank you so much.
Excellent. TTP, David Gonzalez.
All right, I unmuted myself. So, Angela, I am going to take a page from this weekend where we give the feedback because from a place of love and to help you make you better. I'm going to give you a 5.5. And the reason for that is, you know, you came right out of the gate and asked, what do you do? And, which is kind of like, instead of asking him about him, to connect with him as a human. And then what would it take to bring life to the next level? Kind of felt like a scripted question that like you just kind of had in your quiver. And then where you kind of started moving it was to, you know, asking about the impact and the meaning. And even then he's like, whoa, we don't have a whole lot of time, but you still managed to take him there. So then you like, all right, you were getting on track there. But then when what was really present for me was that it kind of was like you were in your head instead of in your heart. And I can just tell from seeing you that you know how to be in your heart. And I'm guessing that was partly because of this whole context and the timing. But I was just going to really encourage you to do what you can to move to your body, to your heart. You made a request about, you know, what could you do? And that was another ding. And then you asked him if you could do, you know, so it was like asking for a future session. I just felt was like, it would have been so much more powerful if you had just been present in your body with him, with who he is. And that would have just gone so much further than any of these scripted questions, because he's such a heart-centered person already. So that's what I got for you.
Thank you for helping me grow. I so appreciate it.
Yeah, BG, awesome. Angela, great job. And listen, this is what it's all about for all of us. We're all rising in our mastery and exponentiality. So beautiful job. Peter, I think we have come to our final.
We have indeed. That's everybody, I believe. So David, Ash, Angela, Josh, all did amazing. Thank you so much for putting this together for us, Sean.
Well, listen, brother, amen. And if this is the end of the journey, it's heart-centered, integrous influence, loving people, unconditional boundaries, understanding that everything in integrity-based human influence starts with love. And second, it's about perceived value versus perceived cost of people, not actual, but perceived in time, in money, in energy. Great job. But hopefully this is just the beginning for all of us. Peter, great job. All our fine participants, and of course, Joe Hagan, David Gonzalez, TTP, Teresa Trigas-Fefferly, thank you so much for everything that you did. Peter, beautiful work, sir. And you are truly a heart-centered, integrous influencer, my friend.
Thank you so much, Sean. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.